Dear humans, I stand here today not for myself, but for every tail wagger, sloppy kisser, and curtain ninja. I stand here for each one of the thousands of dogs and cats killed in shelters each day, asking you to join our cause and help us make sure every best friend has a chance to meet one of their own. With Best Friends Animal Society leading the charge, and your help, we can save them all.
Joining us for Pet Connect, I'm Tara Douglas. We had a successful spay and neuter voucher event this past Saturday thanks to the money we received from the Parker Foundation grant and also the money allotted to spay and neutering from the Talladega County Commissioners. We sold 275 vouchers, so thank you to everyone that came out and got in line and made some good decisions about your pets so that we can do what we can to limit the number of stray and feral dogs and cats in this area and find some homes for the ones that we already have there. So don't forget, we also walk the dogs at the shelter every Saturday from 11 to 1. That's the Sylacauga Animal Shelter. So if you'd like to join us, come on out to the shelter. And we've also got a shelter dog that's our pet of the week this week. This is Elton. He is at For the Love of Dog right now. So Meredith Dempsey was on the show a couple of weeks ago. She has her boarding and training facility there in Alabaster, and she has a special program where she will take dogs from area shelters and board them for $15 a night so that we can learn about their personalities, we can get them out of the kennels at the shelters. So fortunately, Elton is there. Unfortunately, he's been my pet of the week before, so we want to hopefully have this as the last time we have to have him on here. He will be at Meredith's until the end of this month, so he's lucky that he's had a long stay there. And like I said, it's such a unique opportunity to be able to take this very sweet dog, and we've got more information about him because he's been able to live outside the shelter for the past month, and he is just a delightful dog. He is very active, and he loves other dogs, he loves people, so he is a perfect pet for someone. So if you know someone who's in the market to have a dog, please pass on this information and let's find Elton a home and make sure he doesn't have to go back to the shelter at the end of this month. Now, speaking of shelters, we've got our special guest today. It's Lakin Jones. She is the owner, and I imagine you're the designer at LJ Jewelry. Yes, and Lakin does work to help the local Sylacauga Animal Shelter. So Lakin, thank you for coming on the show.
Hi, my name is Lakin Jones, and I'm the owner of LJ Jewelry, and part of my proceeds each month go towards the animal shelter to help them with supplies. I have 3 pets. I have 2 dogs. One is a German Shepherd and one is a Brindle mix, and I have 1 cat. The story about my cat is that we found her under my house, and she was like, she could only fit in like the palm of your hand, and she was very tiny.
So you've got some good stories with all your animals and good stories with your business too. So tell us, how did you start LJ Jewelry?
Well, I've always been creative, and I got started into making bracelets during Bible school.
Okay.
And my Bible school teacher, she taught me how to make bracelets, and I just carried it on from there. I started my shop in my room, and I still have it in my room.
So what kind of jewelry do you make? Is it primarily bracelets, or what else do you do?
I make all kinds of jewelry really, but I primarily make bracelets. I can make rings, necklaces, and I make little charms and keychains.
Okay. And how long have you been doing this?
For about 3 years.
Okay. Now the jewelry that you make, how do people see it? Like, do you have an online store? Do you put it on a Facebook page, or how do people see what you have available?
Well, I have my own online store coming. I have my own website coming, but you can also find my business on Facebook, and my business name is LJ Jewelry, and you can go find that on Facebook.
Now tell us more about the proceeds, the money that you receive for the jewelry that you sell. What do you do with it?
Well, I put part of it towards the animal shelter, and I go to my local store. I mainly go to Walmart, and I go buy foods and needs for the animal shelter. I look on Sylacauga Animal Shelter's website, Facebook page, and I see what they need for each month, and then I go buy part of that stuff.
Well, that's wonderful. I know that they certainly appreciate. When I told them that you were coming on the show, they were really excited that you were coming on to talk, because they have very much appreciated the the food and the supplies that you've taken out there. And like Lakin was saying, don't forget that the animal shelter will post on Facebook all of their needs. So if you're thinking about donating something to the shelter, then you can hop on Facebook and see, what kind of supplies or what kind of food and that sort of thing that they need. So they're lucky to have you supporting them and going out and making sure that they get some of the supplies that they need. Now tell us about your experience there. Did you get to meet any of the dogs when you went to the shelter?
I did. A few years ago, I met this dog named Samson. He was really sweet. He had to have surgery because he had heartworms.
Okay.
And he was a really sweet dog, but luckily he got adopted. I also met another dog named Daisy. She was really sweet, and she loved to wiggle around.
They do. They love to wiggle. All the dogs there. If you come out to the shelter, they're sweet dogs, just like Lakin is talking about. So you should come out some Saturday and walk with us.
Mm-hmm.
And because like I just said, we walk every Saturday from 11 to 1. Now, if you're under 16, you do need a parent with you. And if you're 16 to 18, you can walk a dog, but you have to have an adult with you. And then 18 and older, you can just come on out and walk dogs whenever you want. So we have a good group that comes out. So if you ever want to come on a Saturday, you can come out and meet some more dogs and take some pictures and have a good time seeing what all of your proceeds are helping. So I know that all the dogs, not only the shelter staff appreciate your donations, but the dogs and cats do too. Did you get to meet any kitties while you were there?
I met one, but I don't know her name.
Okay, yeah, there's a cat room to the side, so some people don't realize you can go and meet cats there. But there's plenty of dogs and cats, unfortunately, there at the shelter. But the more we tell people about it, the more we can find them homes. And the more we have help from people like you, the better it'll be. Now, tell us what grade you're in and where you go to school.
I'm in 7th grade and I go to Fayetteville High School.
And you were just telling me you've got some activities that you do there that's pretty impressive, that also is to get information out there about animals. So tell us about your 4-H.
I do that 4-H Alabama Speak Up program. It's where you do speeches whenever they hold a county contest or contest, and you can speech on whatever you want to speech about or talk about. And I do the persuasive part, and I always talk about why we shouldn't animal test and why we should ban kill shelters.
And when was your last time you gave a speech?
November.
Okay, so it's been recent that you've had a speech. Do you enjoy going out and giving speeches like that?
Yes, ma'am.
That's great. That's a good skill to have. So it's nice to see young people that'll go out and talk. Now here's some pictures of you at the shelter. That is quite the trunk load of food that you had there. I bet they were so happy to see you back into that parking space with all that food for them. And now let's talk about, you mentioned your pets at the very beginning. So you have a dog, from what I understand, that came from a shelter. Which dog is this?
Her name is Luna.
Okay, Luna looks like she's having a good time there.
Yes, she loves to
Now,
play.
and here's your other dog.
We got him from the shelter, but
Okay.
he doesn't come up to us, but he stays outside.
Uh-huh.
But he'll come up to you randomly.
Okay, so he's a sweet dog, but he just doesn't want you to pet him too much. And there's your other pup again.
She's really lazy too.
They both look like they love laying on the couch.
Yes.
And love being inside some too.
Yes.
And now I think we have your cat picture coming up next.
Oh, yeah.
Now, tell us more about this cat story. You told us a little bit at the beginning.
So whenever COVID hit, we found her under our house whenever she was when she was only 2 days old. She was really tiny. You could only fit her in the palm of your hand. And she was really sweet, but we had to coax her out of the bottom of our house. And then when we got her, we spent a while bottle feeding her.
Okay. Well, she's a very fortunate cat to have found your house in particular to go under. And you said now she's a big cat.
She's very fat.
Well, I'm sure she very much appreciates all the food that you give her after being a little kitten that couldn't fend for herself under your house and probably starving to death if you hadn't found her. How did you find her? How did you figure out she was under your house? Do you remember?
Well, I was walking down the hallway and I heard some meowing under our house. And I told my mom, I said, "Mama, there's meowing under our house." And we said, "Oh, it's probably just our neighbor's cats because she had a lot of cats."
Okay.
And we found the cat and we went to go ask her if it was her cat. And she said, "No, it's not our cat." I bet it just wandered up. Y'all should keep it. So we spent a week trying to find her a home, but we couldn't find her a home, so we just decided to keep her. Now she has a home.
Well, that's great. Again, in the animal rescue world, we appreciate it when if you find an animal and you're able to keep it and give it a home, that you do that, because it is sometimes hard to find homes, as you saw with that kitten. You couldn't find anybody, but she's got a great home with you now, so that's wonderful. And again, thank you so much for telling us all your stories and about your business. Now, one more time, tell us the name of your business and where we can find the jewelry and how we can get it from you.
My business name is LJ Jewelry. You could go find my Facebook page. You can go find my shop on my Facebook page, and my Facebook page is named LJ Jewelry.
And so we just message you through Facebook if we need to buy some jewelry from you, and then just figure out from there how we can get it. Is that correct? Well, that's perfect. And again, we appreciate everything that you do for the shelter and the fact that you care about the dogs and cats in this area.
Thank you.
And we'll have, we definitely will make sure that people have access to what you need. We'll post this video on Facebook and have a link to your Facebook page or some information about how to get to you from there. And again, if you want to come out to the shelter this Saturday, then come on out from 11 to 1. And if you miss the spay and neuter voucher sale, we'll have another one at the lower cost. But the spay and neuter vouchers are always available at Mutt Cuts at 210 Calhoun Avenue. And even though they're not the $30 we do periodically during the year, they're still a very good price and very low cost vouchers, and they're available year round. So if you miss this voucher sale, make sure you go to Mutt Cuts, because you can still get some good low cost vouchers. These are all to be used at Alabama Spay and Neuter in Irondale, but they do send a transport to the shelter once a month. So they come down here to Sylacauga to pick up the animals. So if you can't make it up to Irondale, you can still use those vouchers. And thank you again, Lakin. We appreciate you coming on, and make sure to check out Lakin's Facebook page so you can see what kind of beautiful jewelry she has and help her support the shelter. And we'll have more Daybreak after these messages.